This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Climate activists are gathering at the global headquarters of Citigroup here in Manhattan to demand the bank stop financing coal, oil and gas companies. The protests come on the heels of a first-of-its-kind Earth Day hearing where environmental activists from around the world gathered in New York this week to condemn Citigroup's what they call environmental racism. Citibank is the world's second-largest funder of coal, oil and gas. We're joined here in our New York studio by Roishetta Ozane, a black environmental leader from Sulphur, Louisiana, who's been leading the fight against the Citibank-funded LNG build-out in her community. She's the founder and director of the environmental justice group, the Vessel Project. Thank you so much for being with us. Welcome back to Democracy Now!, Roishetta. We're in a moment going to try to go right to that Citigroup protest in the streets, but can you explain what this gathering is about and what you're demanding of Citigroup?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It is simple. Citigroup is the second largest financial institution that is backing liquefied natural gas projects along the Louisiana and Texas Gulf Coast. And so we are here demanding that Citibank stops its financing of these projects.
And can you talk about the health issues that your own family and community have been experiencing because of the liquefied natural gas facilities in your area?
Yes, we have 3 of the current operating liquefied natural gas projects in our community. These projects emit things like methane and other chemical pollutions. Those long-term exposure to those type of chemical releases causes things like asthma, eczema, and cancer. Things of which my children are suffering with. 2 of my children have asthma. Some of them have eczema. My own sister is currently in remission from cancer. My son has recently been diagnosed with epilepsy, and upon traveling to a doctor out of state, we learned that the industrial pollution is causing him to have more seizures. So I'm fighting not only for myself and my community, but for my children. And by fighting for my children, I'm fighting for everyone's children.
Roishetta, we're going to go to the streets of New York now, where Alice Hu from New York Communities for Change, one of the leading organizers, is joining us from Citigroup headquarters main entrance. Alice, can you describe the scene there? Who's out there and what you're planning to do?
Hundreds of protesters are out here today blocking every single entrance of Citigroup's global headquarters right now. We've stopped employees from getting in the front door. We've stopped employees from getting to the side doors and the back doors. The reason we're doing that is because Citibank is the world's second largest funder of fossil fuels. We tried completing sessions before. We tried completing talks, sharing our stories, sharing how frontline communities are being killed by fossil fuel projects. They have not listened, which is why we're exhorting the mass, sustained, violence and disobedience to have them respond to our demands.
And Alice, what is Citibank's response?
In the past, when we've, done other protests like this, when we have sent petitions, when we've gotten representatives from leaders, from community organizations, they always say, we care about the planet, we care about your communities, we're listening, but actions speak louder than words. Citibank has poured over $332 billion into fossil fuels since the Paris agreements were signed in 2016. They have not listened to us. They are not responding to our demands. And that is why we are taking the next step. We are going to sustain nonviolent civil disobedience and pressure until they listen, until they respect communities, until they stop killing us.
I wanted to ask you, in January, the Biden administration announced a pause in reviewing applications for LNG facilities. How does this pause look on the ground right now?
I think that it was a good first step. The pause needs to be made permanent. And in fact, all fossil fuel expansion worldwide needs to stop. I think that Citibank needs to be taking cues from the climate movement, from the people on the ground who have successfully pressured Biden to make that pause happen. Citigroup needs to take the next step as well. Stop financing fossil fuel, stop financing LNG expansion.
I want to go back to Roishetta for a moment. What do you make of the United Nations warning to Citibank regarding human rights violations related to fossil fuel expansion, Roishetta?
Citibank continues to violate indigenous rights, human rights, when they continue to fund these projects. And so that's why we're here. We are demanding that Citibank follow suit, follow President Biden's start with pausing the reviewing of these applications and stop the funding. Because what we've learned is that if these projects are permitted, if they get the permits that they need, if they don't have the funding or the insurance, they cannot move forward. And so by constantly providing that money for these projects to be built, Citi is saying that they don't care about this pause. They're saying that, you know, they don't care about what the UN is warning them. They're going to continue to operate in the same way they've been operating, and that is with no care for any human being or human life, or with disregard for this planet that we all share.
And Roishetta, your offices in Lake Charles were severely damaged on April 10th by a tornado. Can you talk about what was lost and the fundraising that you're involved in to rebuild the Vessel Project's office?
Yes, of course. So where I live in Southwest Louisiana, we are prone to these natural disasters. But what we've been seeing in the last several years are climate-induced disasters because of the methane emissions coming from these LNG terminals that are in our community. Just a couple of weeks ago, Southwest Louisiana was hit by several tornadoes, one of which completely destroyed my Vessel Project office. It is a resource center. It is where we educate and empower our community to fight back against these things that are constantly coming in, harming and killing us. We had begun collecting items to pass out to the community because hurricane season starts June 1st. This is not even hurricane season, and we're already seeing torrential downpours. We're already seeing tornadoes that are coming at rates we've never seen before. What is this hurricane season going to look like for us this year? We were trying to prepare the community, and we lost all of those things. So someone knows of the work that I've been doing and knew the things that we have been collecting in our office, and they decided to start a GoFundMe for the organization so that we can rebuild and continue to be that resource for the community.
Roishetta Ozane, I want to thank you so much for being with us, founder and director of the environmental justice group, the Vessel Project. And thanks to Alice Hu of New York Communities for Change, one of the leading organizers of today's action to shut down Citigroup in New York.